What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Eve Campus podcast. While I love interviewing corp CEOs, I thought a change of pace would be nice for this episode. So tonight we have the pleasure of having Ray Zolo on the show, the creator behind one of the most popular third-party tools out there for industrialists and traders, EVEGuru. So, how you doing?
Happy to be here. And thanks for having me.
So I was wondering before we dive into the whole third-party tool thing, I was wondering what's your Eve Online background?
Eve Online background. Well, I started playing Eve Online about 4 years ago. Uh, then been mostly a high sec care bear. Spent most of my time in Eve University. Uh, until I'm still a member of Eve University, but since we launched Eve Guru and made it available for everybody to use, uh, that's been most of my time. But before that, I did anything you typically do in ISAC.
Oh, that's great. So I was wondering, I actually use your app, and it's definitely not some beginner stuff. So, did you have any like professional coding experience, or?
I do. So I used to be a professional developer like 20 plus years ago. Um, uh, and since I took a career path that took me down product management route, I ceased developing code as a profession. But it's kind of in my genes. So I always had some hobby projects on the side to, just because it's fun to code and also to, keep my skills up to date. So done all kinds of different things over the years, like chess engines and compiler writing and yeah, techie stuff.
Right, so yeah, Eve Online is definitely a good way to like go back to coding, scratch that itch, right?
Yeah, so I didn't actually join or started to play EVE Online because of coding. I wasn't even aware that this was a thing at the time. I just wanted to play a space game, and then after about 6 months playing EVE Online, I wanted to do trading, and by then I also learned that there is an API. So I thought that why not combine the two, play the game and also scratch that itch of having to code or the feel that I want to code. I mean, so yeah, it kind of both things. Well, it just led to it eventually. The main reason I did it though is because I wanted to do trading in EVE Online, and it's hard to figure out what to trade when you don't have much experience in this game, right? Even 6 months, I would say, is not enough to understand what are the driving forces behind the market. What are the things that people typically buy or sell? So I wanted to let the computer do the hard work for me of figuring out what to trade. So that was the start of it, just as a tool for myself to do trading in the game.
Yeah, well, I understand that part because when I started trading, I would fall for a lot of scams. Like I bought items, but then they wouldn't sell for like months. I had so much ISK tied up to like dead assets that no one wanted to buy in the first place. So yeah, I feel you with that. So did you start trading with like other tools at the time and be like, oh, this is incomplete. Like I could do better, or
No, really, I didn't. So I knew to some extent there was third-party tools for the game, like PyFa for fitting. Uh, Eve University used Alliance Auth, and I guess maybe. Well, I'm not sure actually. If I think back, uh, no, I think that was kind of my the extent of my experience. So I wasn't aware of other tools. I kind of had a feeling that it existed, but I wanted to, since I can develop code, I wanted to, scratch that itch. So there was kind of nice to just do it by myself, just because I could. It's not because I don't like other tools or couldn't benefit from other tools. It's just that, I just wanted to.
So, what was the first of the three modules? Was it the station trader or the regional trader module? The first one you worked on?
Neither, actually. So the first two windows in EVEGuru was the order management window, and the second window was the asset management window. And the reason for this is because trying to create the algorithms to figure out what to buy and what to sell, I didn't have enough experience with the API at the time to kind of create the, dump all the data into a database and let it crunch on it. So what I did, I dumped the data into Excel initially, and then used Excel to figure out where I can buy stuff and where I can sell stuff. So I kind of used that, Excel to figure out what to buy and what to sell initially. But I needed a tool because once I started to trade, it's like a snowball. You get it rolling. So I started with one Omega account and one Alpha account, and that led after a while to two Omega accounts, and first get to 50 orders and 100 and 250, 500, up to 1,000 orders. And long before I got there, I realized I need to develop a tool that can help me manage my orders, figuring out when I'm outbid, um, telling me whether or not I am starting to pay too much for my buy orders, or if the sell order price is dumping too low and stop me in time before I lose profits. So that's basically the first window, management after I figured out what to trade. How do I manage 1,000 orders at the same time? So I developed the order management window, and then after that, and this is due to the way I traded, because I didn't do station trading, and I did region trading, but not the way we do it in the regional day trader. I did it in a far more slow-paced tempo, basically trying to figure out where can I buy stuff cheap, very cheap, like regional wide orders. And then obviously, because I cast region wide buy orders, that also means that people can sell to me wherever they are. So the reason they would be interesting to sell to me, because they didn't have to drag their loot all the way to the nearest trade hub. So they could just sell it right there where they were, and then go out in space and do whatever they wanted to do. But that also meant that all of those things that people sold to me were kind of spread all over the place. So that's the reason why I developed the asset management window, because I needed a way to figure out, okay, where is my stuff? Is there enough there now that it actually warrants a trip to pick it up? And how much cargo is it in M3, and how valuable is it? And then creating a route and go pick things up, and collecting it in more of a central place in the region. And then the second part to the asset management is to figuring out, okay, now I have these assets collected. Where can I find the best sell price for them? Is it in Heck? Is it in Dudexi? Is it in Rens? Is it in Amar, etc.? And basically, so that's the second role of the asset management window, is to figuring out, okay, I have all this stuff now. Where do I need to haul it?
Right. So
So
that
that's the
technique
that's the
was
two first windows.
the technique was a lot of hauling, I guess.
It's yeah. So cross-regional trading is more than trading a hauling experience. That goes for the regional day trader we have in EVEGuru now. And by the way, the way the regional day trader works, it's possible to make far more is far faster than I ever did when I did these kind of regional wide buy orders at very low price, and then trying to figure out where to sell it. So that was, maybe I was able to, make 4 billion a week or something. But with the regional day trader we have today, 40 billion a month is relatively easy to achieve. So uh, but also that is hauling, right? You buy in one region, and you sell it in another region, and you need to get it there. And at the time, I didn't even consider using a third-party hauling service, which is absolutely possible to do. You can still outsource, hauling of stuff and still make a decent profit. But at the time when I did this, I basically hold everything myself, and I didn't have much skills. Remember, I started after playing the game for 6 months, so I basically hold everything in as Sunesis, which is fine because then I can go into lowsec, without you know big chance of people getting me at the gates. They could always throw a smart bomb at me, man, but it aligns very quickly, and it has a decent cargo hold. So that's how I hold stuff in Sunesis, not even a T1 holder.
Right. So the Apparees started for trading, and then you added some very crazy industry features. Was that before or after you partnered with your partner Fern? Like,
Yeah,
how does that dynamic work?
yeah, no, that was before. So after I had been trading for a couple of years, uh, the guy who taught me trading, basically my mentor in Eve University, and I took all the skills and knowledge he taught me, and I tried to put it into the software. He used the tool as well and gave me feedback, etc. But eventually he took a break from the game, and then I was all alone. So then I found some new friends. There were four of us, and we were talking about, okay, what to do, and let's try to do something we have never done before. That's industry. So we started because one of the guys had a huge blueprint library and never done industry before, and I had absolutely no experience with industry. I mean, sure, I had created a ship like a destroyer or a frigate, etc., but that's not the same thing as trying to do industry for profits. So the other guys had far more skills in the game. They had played the game far more than me. So I said, I don't know what I can bring to the table, guys, but I can try to create a tool that helps us figure out what to build based on profitability. And that was the start of the industry calculator. So yeah, we did that for 6 months, and then unfortunately, one out of the four of us, he got ill and had to take care of his health. And then I was all alone again, and that's the time when I met Fern, my business partner with EVEGuru. So I showed him the tool, and after a couple of days, he came back and said, "Wow, this industry calculator, it's something he has never seen before." So he said, "Wow, you should sell this." So we partnered up and started offering EVEGuru to other players, and that's the start of the EVEGuru franchise.
No, that's amazing. Like your industry tool, like it's so important these days. I mean, I couldn't really do anything without it because the market is going down a lot. Like the ship index, the mineral index, like since a few months, since catalyst, basically,
Yeah.
like minerals or everything is going
Yep.
down like very
Yep.
steep, and it's way harder to find anything that has any profits. Like I mostly build and trade in the Dixie myself, and
Mhm.
I swear, like maybe 90% of my BPOs are sold on the market below build value
Mhm.
now.
Yep.
So yeah, that tool is like usually I would just like copy paste the materials of a blueprint and then check in Janus to see if it was worth building. So like what I what I used to take like a whole evening to choose what I'm building. Well, with your app, it takes me like 5 minutes.
Yeah, so so that was the start of it, right? The industry calculator, and I haven't used other tools. At the time, when I started to build the industry calculator, I was very aware of the tools, but I didn't use them, and the reason why I didn't use looked at other tools at the time was because I wanted to give my take on industry. First of all, I wanted to learn it, the nuts and bolts and all the details that's going on. So I did a lot of research, and I wanted to, not be influenced by how other tools did things. I just wanted to take give it my novel take. I didn't have an aim to, be better or anything like that compared to other tools. I just wanted it to be kind of my take on things. So I didn't know it at the time, what sets it apart from other tools, but I wasn't so let's say, focused on how to build. I was focused on figuring out what is the most profitable thing to build now. So that meant I had to basically, I wanted to scan all the blueprints in the game, look at all the market prices, and figuring out what should we build, what shouldn't we build, what subcomponent should we build, what should we buy, and basically give that entire list of 4,000 different products stack ranked by profitability or return on investment or time it would take to basically how much manufacturing slots it takes to build something. So that was the start of it, and I guess since that's the starting point, and I guess this is also what we try to focus to do with EVEGuru now that we kind of trying to formalize things a little bit more. EVEGuru is a tool that doesn't focus so much on how you have executed in the past, or giving you reporting on how well you did. It focuses on what to do next. What's the next thing you can do that is profitable? So basically, be more prescriptive. What to do next, and that also goes into the new trading modules that we have. That is different from what I did when I did figuring out what to build. No, sorry, what to buy or sell in a spreadsheet. Our trading modules is also about what to trade, not how well you have traded in the past. I mean, I can certainly see the need for something like that as well. But I think a lot of products out there or tools out there actually gives that answer, how well you have done. We wanted to focus on what to do next, how to make more risk.
I haven't
So
tried all those tools. Like I haven't tried all of them. I tried some of them, but I think one of the main features of your tool is that you have everything in front of your eyes. Like it's you open it, you can you filter by what you can build, and then you're like, all right, demand is this, blah blah. Like you have everything in one big picture. Like you can do stuff in EVEGuru that would take you like two or three third-party apps, or like two tools and like your own Excel. So that's what I like about it. Actually, it's all there on my screen. I don't have to alt tab forever.
yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, at the time when I started to build the industry calculator, I had already added a lot of other, data and windows to the app. Because I used it on a daily basis. I wanted to see, okay, what's my loyalty point inventory? Uh, what does my wallet look like? What's my wallet history? What's my market transactions? What's the contracts I've been doing? So I added a lot of windows already. So eGuru was able to figuring out, okay, where is my assets, how much do I have, who's the owner of the asset. We could do this for multiple characters or even corporations. So in this game you have to be part of a corporation, and most people eventually will venture from an NPC corporation into a player owned corporation, and then you will have access to corporation hangars and all these kind of things. So all of these things was already there. And that meant that when we launched the industry calculator, which was, it was very functional at the time. It gave that overview of exactly what to build, but it lacked a lot of features in other areas that other tools had, like what do I have in my inventory? Now, even if we had so the assets in EVEGuru at the time, we didn't combine that with industry calculator. But the benefit came in the form of people starting to use the tool, and they filed a lot of feature requests. Like, I would like to see this, I would like to see that, I would like to see my inventory. I would like to, if I have it in the inventory, I don't want to buy it or build it, just use my inventory. I want to be able to whitelist something, meaning always build it, or I want to blacklist something I never want to build. So we were able to add all of these features very rapidly to the tool based on user feedback, because the tool already had all of those data, different kind of data in it already. So the first year we that EVEGuru was out, the industry tool set grew tremendously. Like we didn't focus, as I mentioned, we didn't focus on how to build stuff, but figuring out what to build. So one of the early feature requests we got was, okay, show me something how to build it, because yeah, sure, it's great to see this detailed tree structure of all the dependencies of subcomponents and sub-subcomponents and reactions and what have you. But when I want to build this thing, it becomes really tedious to go through that tree structure and figuring out what to build and in what sequence. So that was the birth of what we today call the production ledger, which basically takes whatever you want to build from the industry calculator, reanalyzes it, figuring out what's the dependency chain of the different things you need to build, and give you a nice to-do list. So these are the things you need to do first, and this is the things you need to do second and third and fourth, etc. So yeah, it's come a long way from when we launched it in late 2024 till where we are today.
Yeah, and you guys seem like very active in taking community feedback. Like I see it on your Discord, and it's very great input. I mean, you have guys.
Yeah, so we started to get if I go back to the early days after we launched, the first couple of months. So both Fern and I, by the way, I have to say that both Fern and I have more experience with trading than we have in industry. So while we focused on industry at launch time, that was basically based on feedback from Fern, where he said, this is the part of the tool that is most different from any other tools that the community has seen before. So let's focus on industry. But since we were both traders, we wanted to pivot over to trading and deliver the regional day trader and the station trader very early on, after a month. That's what we planned. But when we launched it, it didn't actually play out the way we kind of hoped for or planned for. Maybe we were a bit naive, at least I were. So what happens when you take a piece of software that you have developed, that you have used yourself, and when you use it yourself, you don't then you use it the way you have implemented it. So you don't try to explore what if I use it in a different way, etc. You kind of focus on the way you have coded it. So, but when you give it to somebody else, they start to use the tool in a different way than I anticipated. So all kinds of bugs came up, right? So the first couple of months, all I did was basically do bug fixing, right? So we needed to put up a ticket system where people can file bug reports and upload the log files and basically fix all these bugs. Once that was done, a couple of months later, that's when the feature requests started to pour in, and that's where we also on our Discord put up this suggestion bot where people can register features, and then basically every feature request gets its own thread and a small text that describes what the feature is, and then voting buttons. So the community can upvote and downvote which feature requests they like the most. And every month for the first 12 months we were out, Fern and I, we looked at the feature request queue, and we ranked it based on the most upvotes or most net votes, and basically we always started every month. We wanted to deliver at least one or two features from the feature request queue, so that the community could feel like, yeah, we are actually listening, we are implementing what they have been asking for. So yeah, we have both support tickets and bug report tickets and also feature request ticket system.
Right. And I wanted to touch a bit on your subscription model. So of course you couldn't do like a real money app, so you decided to go with ISK, and you guys offer a free trial period. Is all the modules are included in the free trial, or it's just like do you have access to the full capabilities of your tool with free trial?
Almost. So today we have three modules. We have the industry toolset, and we have the station trader, and we have the regional day trader. So that's the three modules we have. But there is a baseline feature set that is common across all of those modules. So regardless of which of those three modules you would like to subscribe to, all of you will get asset management, order management, contract management, a wallet overview, and things like that. So that's kind of commonality. Um, so we wanted to pick a price point that we thought that would be a kind of a fair balance between people who are very sophisticated and advanced and make billions or tens of billions every month doing trading and industry. Versus we don't want to put the threshold too high either, but low enough to bring newer people in. So that's why we decided to do a 30-day free trial, and in the free trial. Uh, Two of the modules are included with no restrictions, except where there's one restriction. During the trial, you can only register and use one character with the tool, whereas if you subscribe, you have unlimited characters. The trial contains the station trading module and the industry trading module. It does not include the regional day trader, and there is a reason for that. The regional day trader, first of all, it's far more expensive module. It costs $1 billion per month. And one of the reasons why we can charge that much for it is because it helps our users, makes tens of billions. I mean, the average would be between 30 and 40 billion per month in net profits using that module. And we thought that, hey, we have users who are willing to pay $1 billion per month to use that tool. We don't think it's fair to them to give it away for free for 30 days. So that specific module is only available on subscription. But the station trader and the industry tools are available free in the 30-day trial.
Right, and how about you mentioned unlimited characters. Like for example, me, I have 5 Omega accounts with
Mhm.
15 characters,
Yep.
and in that I have two corporations. Like the only corporations I have personally right now is are play solo corps. Like for me to just like access the hangars and stuff. Like I'm not involved in any group yet.
Yeah.
So if I wanted the industry module, it would be good for my 15 alts and my 2 corps, for example.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
only one sub for everything you have.
Yep. If
Yeah,
you
that's
if you subscribe to one of the modules, you can register unlimited number of characters, no limit.
in corporations.
And corporations. So that goes implicitly. So whenever you register a character, the corporations automatically follows. So because all your characters needs to be a member of a corporation in this game, whether it's NPC corporation or a player-owned corporation, doesn't matter. You have to be a member of a corporation.
You do.
So when you register, we already know that corporation, so we will start to sync it. Now, obviously, there is no data to sync for an NPC corporation, but if you happen to be a member of a player-owned corporation, something you own yourself, or something that you're just a member of, it will automatically start syncing as well. And
Yeah,
that
and
goes
then
through the trial as
what
well.
you're
That happens
syncing
during.
depends on your permissions, right? I mean, if you're like a line member of some build big null block, like you won't see everything they have in their hangars and stuff. Like
That
it's
is
all
true. So that is already taken care of by the ESI API. So whether or not you will get data from the ESI depends on what roles you have with the corporation. So
right.
we don't need to think about that in EVEGuru. We can ask, for instance, we can request whenever you register a tune, we know which corporation you belong to. Then we can ask ESI, please give me the blueprint library for this corporation. And if you don't have the specific, the required roles with the corporation, we will get nothing back.
Right. And you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, of course. But how many subscribers do you have, like on average? Like, how big is this tool now?
I would say somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 subscribers every month.
Wow.
It varies. So, some people they subscribe for a year and they turn on automatic renewal. And others they subscribe for a couple of months and then they take a break and they come back after a couple of months. So I'd say somewhere between maybe around 1,500 on average.
Still big considering EVE Online these days has like 30,000 on average players online. That's still a very nice chunk for a single tool, right?
Well, that's the daily average for EVE Online. What
Like,
I told you was the monthly average for EVEGuru. So it's kind of comparing a little bit apples to oranges. And while the typical peak online characters playing the game is around 25 to 30,000, there is likely maybe more than 100,000 players of EVE Online. They just don't happen to be online at the same time. Or sorry, at least 100,000 characters. I mean, how many actual players there is for EVE Online? I don't know where to get that number.
yeah, those stats are CCP won't tell us, but I assume most people have at least, well, except for alpha players like new bros, like most people have at least two accounts simultaneously.
Yep.
Like when I'm
Yep.
mining, I use five. Maybe a sixth one is in the works right now. But yeah, so there's
Well,
a lot
what
of
you can say, I mean, what you can say that on a daily basis, well, the peak simultaneous number of characters in the game is between 20 and 30,000 every day, right? Or and that needs to be individual accounts. One user can have own multiple accounts, of course, but at least you know that there is between 20 and 30,000 active accounts logged into the game at any point in time.
So when I first started the trial, for some reason I didn't use my 30 days to explore the whole thing. I kind of stuck just with the industry module. So how about the trade modules? You have two. You have one, the cheaper one that's station trading, and
Mm-hmm.
the other one that's the regional trading. But what exactly is the difference between those two in terms of
The difference is the station trader, you basically stay in a station and you place buy orders to buy stuff. You wait for somebody to sell to you, and then once somebody have sold to you, you place sell orders to sell the stuff again, and you live off the margins. That's the station trader. You don't need to fly. You just stay put in a station. You place buy orders, you place sell orders, and that's it. A regional day trader, there's many ways to do cross-regional trading. But what we focus on in the regional day trader is to take advantage of the price variations between the different regions. So in the regional day trader, you don't place buy orders. You buy directly from sell orders. Let's say that right now the sell price in Jita is lower than the sell price in Amar. So you can buy stuff right now in Jita and you can put it in your ship, fly to Amar and place a sell order and you will have profits. So that is basically what the cross-regional day trader is. The reason why we call it a day trader is because the module is very efficient at finding out what items or products on the market is in the middle of a price hike. So when a product gets a price hike, they will get very high up on the list on profitability in the regional day trader, and that usually what that means is that you have a very short time to take advantage of that price hike before somebody else comes in and the price starts to go down again. So that's why we call it a day trader. The whole point is that you identify those price hikes, you go and buy stuff right now directly from sell orders, fly to that station where it's sold at a higher price as soon as possible, and list them at sell price level there, and then try to ride the market as the prices go down. Yeah, it's a day trading module. You try to get rid of your stuff as quickly as possible, which is also why usually when you go after those type of things, it's a benefit to hold yourself because I don't think there is many third-party holding services that can beat you in self-holding when it comes to time. But it's still possible if you instead of going after those very high profitable items, go after items that has more stable profit over time and very high trade volume and go for them instead. Then you can buy stuff, you can contract it to a hauler, it will arrive a couple of days later, and then you can sell them because the likelihood of the price for those type of items to fluctuate and cause a loss is very low compared to those items you try to go after that is currently in a spiking price situation.
right. And in your interface, actually, with the two modules, is there a way to see if like if an item or a ship or whatever is like at its lowest in the for a 52 weeks average, for example, is
Yep.
what exactly are the metrics you can see in the two modules?
So yeah, absolutely. That's one, I think, one of the novel things. Maybe I don't know. I haven't, as I said before, I haven't studied other tools very much, but I think there is some novelty in the way we treat historic prices and trying to identify where the prices are going. And we call it a risk profile. So in the risk profile, you basically said, please look at the prices over a period of time and figuring out what the average price is across that period of time, and compare that to the current price differences, and present me a what if scenario. So what if I buy the stuff right now and I sell it right now? I know what profits I can get. But what if the price starts to drop down to an average price, for instance, the last 2 months average price? What profits am I looking at then? This is very important when you're going after price hike items. So things that is currently very high priced, there will be a downward pressure as more traders go in and try to fill that gap. And then it's good to know where will the price end up. So basically, what we do there, you tell the tool what period you would like it to calculate those averages across. And then we are using the typical market statistics that you can see in the game, and calculating what would be the average price be over time. In a weighted scenario, not only not only the daily average prices, but weighted based on how much is actually traded on each of those days. And we use the same number actually to calculate what the trade volume is, because it's not enough. And that was one thing I didn't have in the early days of EVEGuru. It's easy to figuring out what the price deltas will be. How much do I need to pay for buying it, and how much can I get from selling it? That's easy to get, because you just need to look at the current listed orders on the market to get that. Now, what you don't get with that is how many items is actually moving. So we use the same time period that we talked about for the risk profile, where we try to figuring out what the average price is in this period. We also look at the trade volumes in this period, and then we give you an estimated trade volume that you can expect to experience for that item in a particular market. And I guess that is data that is not available in the game. So that is data we have to calculate ourselves, or use another tool that can do the same kind of calculations and give away that data for free. That tool actually exists, and I can highly recommend people to use it. It's a fantastic tool. It takes time to get to understand what's going on with that tool. It's very powerful. It's called Adam for Eve. And one thing that Adam Free does is that they do analyze the entire market in order to calculate how much trades in each individual station. And not only that, it also separates how much is traded with buy orders from how much is traded on sell orders. That kind of data level doesn't exist from CCP. They only give regional average data. So if you combine those two things, you get very close to what we do in EVEGuru. We do something else as well in our algorithms that I'm not going to reveal to you. So we do have some trade secrets.
Yeah, well, of course. But the way so, for example, like for an industrialist, it would actually be worth having the regional trader down the line, because I don't know. For example, I'm building like 1,000 shuttles because I'm bored and I have an
Yeah,
overloaded trade like into Dixie, and then I'm like,
yeah,
well, they always sell like way below build value, but then I could actually find a better place to haul them and get rid of them,
true. So
which
when
I
we
couldn't see
launched,
with other tools, right?
yeah, it's true. Now, when we created, so the sweet spot pilot for the real day trader is a DST pilot. That's who we created it for, and we estimate that following the tool and following the guidance that we give for it, it should be possible for almost anybody to be able to profit 30 to 40 billion per month using it. I can go back to exactly what those details are, but when we launched this module back in April last year, the first month we got another type of user that we didn't anticipate for it. One of the early users was actually a jump freighter holder, and he took advantage of this tool to basically backfill his jump freighter whenever he had spare cargo. So he was, flying all over the place to deliver cargo for his customers. And whenever he had spare cargo, he used the regional day trader to backfill his cargo hold to move stuff between regions. The first month he used the tool, he netted more than 120 billion in net profits.
Wow. Yeah, so it's a very, very powerful tool. Like the price seems pretty steep up front. Uh,
Hmm.
it's not including the free trial, but like you're
And it's also something I have to say here. It's not a module that we recommend for beginners to use, because in order to get these profits we are talking about. So I mentioned a DST pilot should be able to net between 30 and 40 billion per month by using that module. And in that context, a billion in subscription is not that much. So what does it take then? If I am a DST, why did we aim for that? So a DST, flying a DST or a deep space transport ship, or even a blockade runner, have almost equal amount of skills required to get there. And it's something that even a relatively new player to EVE Online, and when I say new player, I mean, let's say 6 months old player, should be able to train into. So that kind of lowers the bar for what kind of ship you need in order to see this kind of profits. The second thing is that we still say it's not a beginner module. And the reason for that is because it requires a lot of capital. You need to have a lot of capital to see these kind of high profits. So our recommendation is to don't even start using it unless you have at least 5 billion liquid ISK. And the sweet spot for it is to actually have 10 billion listed in active sell orders at any point in time, and being able to continue to have 10 billion on the market. If you do that, and if you spread your the type of items you trade as wide as possible, meaning as many different item types as possible, uh, and we can also put a number on it, at least 150 sell orders, at least. The more the merrier. So if you're able to maintain 10 billion in active sell orders, and you have at least 150 sell orders active, and you're able to update those orders at least twice per day to keep up with the competition, you should be able to net around 30 billion per month.
right. So that's huge. And how about the station trading module? I guess that one's simpler, right? For like newer players. I mean, it doesn't. I guess takes as much capital as it
It
as
does
like
not.
trading
It
across the universe.
Yeah, so has a lower bar. So that is why. So the renal day trader, I have to say, renal day trader is not my invention. Fern, my business partner, he invented that. He already had a renal day trader implemented in Power BI that he used himself before he met me. So what I did was to take his invention and codify it and make it more flexible, into an app that anybody can use, which is easier to utilize or use than Power BI, and packaged it. So we already had that goal in mind to deliver the real day trader when we met. Um, but I insisted, and we also wanted to, because Fern went to FanFest last year, because we also wanted to become an e-partner. So Fern went there to establish relationships with CCP, um, and we wanted to send the tool, the module, the real day trader, have it released before he went there, so he could demo it, etc., and create some hype around it. But I insisted that I don't only want to do the real day trader. We need to have an entry level trading module as well. So that's why I insisted that we also do the station trader at the same time as we release the day trader. So the station trader has a 200 million ISK per month subscription fee, and it has a
Think.
far lower. You don't need 10 billion in active orders. All that said, many of the same principles still apply. So if you it's still possible to make tens of billions in profits with station trading, with the station trading module, but the same rule apply. At least 150 orders, the more the merrier. Hundreds of orders, as many as you can achieve. If you have multiple characters, 600 orders, fantastic. And also the capital required to keep those continuously in motion and update them at least twice per day. With that kind of setup, you can reach tens of billions in profit even with station trading, several billions at least.
Well, that's what's
In,
nice with station trading is it's kind of exponential. Like you have your capital, and then you have your orders, and you can start with 5 millions in a station, and then the next month you have like 1 billion in your wallet. It's Like
That's
it's
true.
kind of exponential. Like yes, you have to deal
Absolutely.
with those annoying one iskers and like those outbidders every
Absolutely.
time, but it's worth it
Yep.
though.
It's possible. I mean, it's more than possible. And now, one thing have to be said though. The competition is fierce, right? And the biggest market when you do station trading is Cheetah by far. Like it's 10 times bigger than any other, than the second largest trade hub. So if you really want to see high trade volumes, Jita is the place to go. But because it also has high trade volumes, it has a lot of competition. And because of the competitions, the margins are slimmer. So trading in a place like Jita can for sure be profitable. And it's possible to make billions there as well. But it's super important to spread out wide. It's not enough to, place 5 buy orders and 5 sell orders. You need hundreds of orders in order to achieve this. But you can start small and then snowball. But the important thing is that the profits you make, you roll it back into trading until you reach a level that has sustainable income for you.
Yeah, what I usually do with my, I have one market station alt, like it's parking the Dixie actually. So what I do is like every week I check, I compile all I've sold and then I transfer 10% of that to buying Plex. So I can have my little bank aside there, and I'm like, well, I'll forget about that Plex, and when a good sale or when I'll need like liquid ISK, I'll just use that
Yeah,
stash there. But I'm trying to keep the most capital I can on that that
yeah,
character in order to exponentially raise that
yeah,
wallet.
yeah, yeah. Now,
So
obviously, all of these things we are talking about is possible to do without a tool. So what the tool does for you is to save you time, and also to identify opportunities. That's the two things the tool does for you: save time and identify opportunities that you otherwise wouldn't be able to see because there is so much data. I mean, this game has more than 40,000 items that is tradable on the market, right?
right.
And maybe 1,000 of those are super high margins or super high profitability, um, combined with the volume. How do you find the correct items? That's number one problem. And then uh, how much time do you spend managing those things is the second problem. And so we try to address both of those things. And is it possible to do this without tooling? Yes, it is. But you will spend more time, and there will certainly be opportunities that you will not be aware of. But one thing, the reason why I'm saying this is because even though we have these tools, and the subscription for these tools doesn't mean it's for everybody. If you just do occasional trading, then the EVEGuru is not for you. It is for a player who wants to dedicate his time to it, where trading is not only a side thing, but actually is the main income source for you. That's when a tool like EVEGuru comes to its be able to deliver on the value.
And
So
that station trading, is it just for the five, like, quote unquote main hubs, or can I park in any random station or even a player station and use a module there? What I mean, can I go to, I don't know, Stackmon, whatever?
you can. I mean, we suppose so. By default, we list all the 5 major high sec traders there. That's by default. By that I mean Jita, Amar, Dudixi, Rens, and Heck. Now you can add any other market you want, any other NPC market, any player-owned market, even private markets. You can add. So you just register those, and as long as so when it comes to private markets, it means that your tool needs to have access to that market, which is restricted. Many null-sec alliances have their own private market that can only be used by their members. But if you are a member of such an alliance, EVEGuru can help you and certainly be able to show you the data from that market.
Okay, so you
There,
can be like in Brave or whatever and use their main market hub, and as long as you have access, you can use the Eve Guru the same way you would use it in Jita, for example.
that is true. But there is, so yeah, you can. Especially for the regional day trader, we have many null-sec alliance players who use EVEGuru, the real day trader, to seed up their local market. So they basically buy things in high sec, ship it to lowsec, and sell it there, right? And keep things stocked. So the retail day trader is super good for that. Doing station trading in private markets, it's more difficult for two reasons. First of all, both modules is based on market statistics and market history. So if there is a market where with no history, because nobody has traded there before, we don't know what to trade because it's based out of what has traded in the past. We are coming up with a new module coming later this year that will address that gap. But for now, we don't cover that. Another problem with private markets is the way we are calculating trade volumes. So let's say that you are in Jita and you want to see how much. So for a specific item, you see the margin per item is good. You would like to trade it, but you would like to know how much is actually sold to buy orders per day on average. How much is sold via sell orders per day on average for this particular item? That's crucial information for a station trader, right? That data is not available from CCP. As I mentioned before, there is another tool out there that can do the same thing like EVEGuru does. That's Adam for Eve. But there is a limitation. We can only do that for markets that is public, open to the public. Because basically what we do, we go and download the market data, not the market history, but the current listed orders every 15 minutes. And we compare to the previous 15 minutes and we see what has changed. And that is how we are able to track what sells via buy and what sells via sell. And that data is available for public markets, but for private markets, that data is not available. You need to have a character with docking rights to a private markets to see that kind of data, which is why we are unable to give that kind of data in EVEGuru, because we cannot do the calculations. We have to do that for you on our server. So the server, that calculates 24/7. And without that market access, we cannot do those calculations, and that is a limitation. So using our station trading module in a private market will suffer from those limitations. Now we hope in the future to be able to offer private market owners the opportunity for their customers to use EVEGuru. If they are able to give us access to the market, we can do the calculations, obviously under the premise of not leaking that data, right? Because this is a game of drama and diplomacy and spying and everything, right? So
Right.
some things people would like to keep a secret. So that is why also it's important for us in EVEGuru to be neutral and have no affiliation with alliances, so that we kind of build up that reputation and become trustworthy, and hopefully at some point some of those private market owners would uh, allow us to be able to calculate those statistics for them, so that their users can benefit from the same thing that EVEGuru users can do in public markets.
And one question: you've been a trader for long, and you've tested your tool, I guess, really extensively. If Jita didn't exist, what would be your choice hub between the four others if you wanted to start as a station trader right now?
Start as a station trader. That would be Amar. I would go with the volume here. So after Jita, the biggest public market hub is Amar. The reason why you want to go after the trade volumes is because you need to know that things move, right? You can place a buy order and you want to know that it actually gets fulfilled. And you want to place a sell order, you want to know that somebody will actually buy from it. So Amar would be the second hub. Dudexi coming at the third place, and then Heck and Rens at the fourth.
Because
Just
Heck and
due to,
Rents are what, like 6 jumps apart?
yep, 5 jumps apart.
But Amar is the farthest from Jita. I'm guessing that's why people sell more locally, because
Likely, yeah, yeah,
it's a long way, right? If you take the high sec route, it's a very long way from Amar to Jita.
it
So
is.
I'm guessing that's one reason why Amar is
I expect
the
so.
second
I
biggest hub.
expect so. Yeah. So when Fern and I met and we decided to launch EVEGuru, we quickly came up with what is our mission? What are we trying to do with this tool? We want to help people get rich. That's our mission. Then, of course, you talked about, okay, what about our vision? We need to have a vision, a dream. And one thing we wanted to, well, dreamt of is to be able to have an impact in the game. For me, that would be if we can help, and I'm not naive enough to think that we can actually achieve this. So that's why it likely is going to just remain a dream. But I would really like to see the non-Jita trade-ups grow relatively to how much is traded in Jita. I think everybody will benefit from having multiple large markets out there instead of one super large market. So that's kind of my dream. And if we can influence that or help in that to really realize, that would be wonderful. But is it possible? I have no idea.
Well, I think that CCP is going to help us in the future with that because, the next three expansions have been announced to be faction warfare stuff. So
Yep.
I'm guessing like even high tech industry in general, but like regional markets will grow bigger because our more people won't spend a whole day freighting stuff from Jita all the time. Like I think it will encourage local producing of stuff, and I think it will dynamize the markets. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I really hope I'm not.
Yeah. Well, we can always hope, right? I think it would be everybody would benefit to have today everybody kind of, well, not everybody, but the vast majority of people who want to sell stuff or buy stuff, they go to Jita because there's two reasons for it. One thing is that they have the volume, right, and they have the spread. So almost anything that is possible to buy and sell is bought and sold in Jita. The other trade-ups have holes in the portfolio of items that trades. Um, and then, of course, you have the trade volume. Also, because of the competition, likely the lowest sell prices. Not always, though. Not always, but usually the lowest sell prices amongst the major trade-ups. Um, but yeah, if I want to do station trading and I couldn't pick Jita, I would go to Amar or do Dixie.
Well, one of my personal mottos is make the Dixie great again. So I don't know why I started Eve playing Galente, and then I
Yeah,
just love the space. And I never really bothered. Like I've traveled a bit, but I never really bothered setting anywhere else except for my two very short stints in
yeah,
nullsec. But
yeah,
other than that, I'm mostly a high sec care bear. Like
yeah.
I've been to nullsec. I'm not sure I want to go back. Like I would for mining or whatever, for infrastructure, for fleets and stuff. But other than that, I'm happy where I am actually.
Yeah, so I also happen to start in Galente space. Now we have put our low on Heck and see if we can help Heck grow big with our industry park and mining free port there. But yeah, and anything. I mean, if Durex can grow, fantastic. And one thing I want to call out there is that, and this is based on people ask us all the time. Now that tools like EVEGuru is there, and I always people say because of that so many use it. Wouldn't that take the market opportunities away? Wouldn't that hurt everybody? And there's a couple of things people tend to forget there. Compared to the total number of trading tools out there, EVEGuru is the last, out of a long range of tools, right? So
Yep.
there is already a bunch of trading tools out there, and we certainly don't have the majority of that, right? So the majority of players out there, they use non-EVEGuru tools, right? So that's number one. Secondly, this is not a new phenomenon, right? CCP, with all the love and care they have for this game, they invented an API so long ago, right? The API we have today is modern, fresh, etc. But it's far from, it's not their first attempt. They have had an API for this game many, many years ago, right? So if you go and look at Eve Online history about the different tools that have existed, 10 years ago, etc. It was all there. I've looked into it. I mean, I've looked into a name that I was not aware of until last year. Everness, Eve Mogul is coming back. Have a comeback now. Eve, what's it called? Eve Monitor or Evemon, or it's so many different tools. And I looked into some of these old tools just because I was curious. And oh boy, they were powerful. I mean, uh, EVEGuru compared to those. I would struggle sometimes to, of course we have our forte, they have their fortes, etc. But they wouldn't stand back for they would still be powerful tools today if they would have been maintained and would have survived all these years. They would still have been super powerful tools. So using tools to be able to trade is nothing new, and the market is simply too big. A single tool cannot take away the profitability in the market. So, but anyways, we both Fern and I, we were kind of curious what when we released this tool, would that actually change the market? Would the profits go down? So the way we try to monitor that is through the real day trader. So we have seen a change, but it's far too early to see if that is caused by EVEGuru. I certainly don't think so, but I cannot rule it out. But one thing we have seen is that there is still billions and billions and billions in profitability, possible to be made every single day still. So trying to hold stuff to Jita and trying to sell, that's a very low margin. But buying stuff in Jita, holding it and selling it in the other market like Amar, Dudix, Hex Rents, every week I go in and I look at the tool, look at the regional day trader, look at the opportunities, and I haven't seen a single day where there hasn't been 5, 10 billions in profitability opportunities going out from Jita. And it's still there, ready for people to get rich.
Yeah, well, I don't doubt that. I mean, even I have like some mining buyback and stuff. And I have like one alt in rents and heck, and I can seriously make money just with minerals and ores. I don't touch anything else, and I still can make some profit moving between those two hubs.
Yep, yep.
So without any tools, I guess with a powerful tool like yours, everything's possible, right?
Anything is possible. And we are not standing still either. I mean, we are developing new features. So together with the station trader, we plan to release an arbitrage trading module very soon. So that would be, a module that tells you, go over there in that station, pick up some items from buy and take it over there and sell it to sell and make a profit. So that's trade arbitrage for you. So we will companion that with the station trader. It will not be a new module. It will just be together with the station trader. So you have more opportunities. And for the renal day trader, we also plan to expand that with what we call a station seeder. So, or sorry, a market seeder. So a market seeder is, as I mentioned earlier, the day trading model we have looks at the market trade history in order to figuring out what is tradable. But what if you want to try to make your own market, not owning the structure, but you want to seed up and see, can you create a new market, a place where people will go and buy? There is no history to look at. What do you do then? And that is what the market seeder is for, helping you to figure out how much should you have in stock, how much should you list in your orders, what the price deltas should be compared to the other trade hubs, etc. So that is a market seeder is what we call it.
Well, yeah, that's a very good idea. I was wondering, you've touched on Eve Online's API, and it changed over the years. Is that like a pain point for you guys? I mean, at one point, if they change the API, will your tool break and you'll have like hours and weeks to adapt to the new one, or do you have
Yeah,
like contingency for that?
yeah, yeah. That is certainly true. Now, it doesn't happen frequently, right? So it's rare that there is a breaking change in the API that forces you as a tool developer to spend weeks to try to get it back up and running again. It certainly happens, and I think over the history, well, I've only been with the game for 4 years, but I've done some research on the history here. I don't think it has happened often. I like 2, 3 times over the last 5 years maybe. CCP is very good at maintaining backward compatibility, and usually also communicate very well when a breaking change is about to come. Not always, but usually they do. They are good caretakers. But even if you don't have big breaking changes, which will force you to, work for weeks to overcome a breaking change. There are the kind of the every month there may be some new items that they display, they have in the game, or some maybe a new blueprint, etc. So there is a continuous maintenance needed to stay alive and be relevant. That is needed. So it's not like, I don't think it's easy to make a tool that you make once and it runs forever. I don't think that works. It will be irrelevant or not be able to consume the data for the game after relatively short time. When I say relatively short time, within months. Within months, there will be some kind of change that would require some kind of maintenance. So that's just how it is. That's the price for staying relevant.
Yeah, and I guess, you wouldn't wake up one morning and see like, oh, my tool's broken now. They changed everything. I think you would have some kind of early warning, right?
Yes. Yes. Now, all that said, just in the last year, there was three things that CCP has done that constituted a big change in combination. So first off was last summer or late last summer, they made a complete structural change to how the SDE is formatted. And SDE, for people who don't know that, it's something called static data export. This game requires a ton of data, and you need a lot of that data just to be able to do the most novel thing. And in order to avoid having all the tools hammering an API to get all that data, CCP issues a package, a zip file, if you like, with most of the data that is static, more or semi-static, changes very rarely, and they hand that out. So most tools, they need to consume that data to kind of have a starting ground for their app. They could, in theory, download most of this data from the API. I did that when I started to develop EVEGuru, like 4 years ago. And it took after 4 hours, I had to stop it. It was still not complete, right? It took too long time. So that's when I had to switch to the SDE. Now, so they made a breaking change to the SDE last summer. And then there was a relatively smooth transition, I would say, in the fall, going from what was called Swagger 1 to Swagger version 3. So that's kind of an open AI standard that they changed. So that was actually very, very well executed. I don't think there was much backward compatibility issues there at all. And then lately, they have introduced new features, which is not necessarily a breaking change per se, but it changes how you need to interact with the API. So they have rolled out what is called rate limitations to almost all of the endpoints now in the ESI. So before, if you go back a year, there was only one endpoint that actually had rate limits on it, and that was the market history endpoint, where you can only do 20 requests per 20 requests per 10 seconds. So on average, 2 requests per second. That was the limitation. And every other endpoint, you could basically hammer as much as you wanted to. Now, of course, if you abuse this and it create a problem for CCP, they will of course ban you from you. So all of this obviously assumes that you are behaving well, but even so, there was no rate limitations for any of the other APIs. If you wanted to ask for all the market data from Jita, you will get it. And the rate at which you get it is just the rate of the speed as fast as the ESI could hand it out. Now they have introduced rate limits on these things. So you basically get a wallet of tickets, and every time you make a request to an endpoint, you basically consume one, two, or three of those tickets or tokens. And when your bucket is empty, you have to wait 15 minutes or for the next 15-minute intervals until that bucket is replenished again, right? So that is a new thing, and this changes how you interact with the API. And from an app developer, it could constitute a breaking change, meaning if your app expects to be able to just ask for all the data and it will come, and now it will actually send you an error message when your quota has been exceeded, and then you have to wait if you don't change the app and how it behaves, it'll break, right? So these three things happened over the course of 6 to 8 months. Together, they constituted a big jump for developers to be able to consume. But on the other side, they do this for a reason, right? They do this. Usually, most of these things that CCP do will result in something better than we had, right? So now the endpoint, so the ESI is far more fair, right? It treats everybody on a fairness basis. So because everybody has the same quotas. So not as not that one user can hammer it and basically DDoS anybody else. That will not happen. Well, hopefully, not happen by accident anymore. Or the new format of the static data export is absolutely better than it was before. Now, if you go through and make the necessary changes to your app, the new SDE is far better. Absolutely, right? So everything is kind of modernization and continuous improvement. We just happen to be right now in a cycle where a lot of those changes happen at the same time.
So let's talk about your industry park. Like I saw that. When did that start? Like a few months ago.
Yeah. We launched the Auner Industry Park the 1st of October last year. So we've been out for 5 months.
Right. And like I'm guessing you guys financed it with the subs, I guess.
Uh, when you say subs, what do you mean?
People subscribing to EVEGurus. That's
Oh
what
no
I mean.
no no! It's so the the Auner EVEGuru Industry Park is open for anybody. You don't need to use EVEGuru to utilize our
Yeah,
industry
yeah,
park.
no, no. What I meant by that is, I guess the initial investment to set up that industry park came
Oh
from
yeah.
patrons.
That's true. Yeah. Now I understand where you're getting at. So yeah, so people have asked me now that EVEGuru became so successful. You must have become rich now. And Ray, where is your Titan? Where have you parked your Titan? So people have asked that question, and the truth is, I cannot even fly a Titan. I don't even have the skills to fly. So, but it's true that I did use the profits I gained from the app and invested it in the Auner Industry Park.
So
So,
you're kind
so
of so you're kind of giving back to players, right?
that's the point, right? So when Fern asked me very early on before we launched, "What's your goal, Ray? What do you want?" So I said, "My dream if I could get enough income from EVEGuru to flex 4 accounts, I would be super happy. That would be then that's all I want. And we achieved that far sooner than we expected. So I spent actually is in two ways. First, we created the industry park in Auner with a Sotio and a Tatara where people can do industry with very good rates, and we even subsidize hauling there between Jita and Auner to facilitate industrialists who want to buy stuff and want to sell stuff. They have extremely good hauling rates between Jita and Auner.
Oh, so you
Um,
do have some kind of freighter service.
yep, there is a freighting service there. So we partner with Citadel Hauling Solutions, who basically move goods for our industrialists between Jita and Auner at very, very low rates. So we can move equal to jump freighter load for 120 million. Actually, it requires two contracts to do that because we just recently changed our contracts sizes for it. It would be 180,000 M3 up to 5 billion in collateral, and we charge 60 million to move that for you. That's
It's
cheap.
nothing. That's
That is
nothing.
cheap. Yeah. So, and also we do a DST load for 25 million. And this is to facilitate beginners to be able to experience a professional industry, right? So as a beginner or a relative new player for EVE Online, you don't have all the skills yet. And you certainly don't have the knowledge how to move safely in and out of lowsec. And you need to go to lowsec to do reactions, for instance, right? So that is why we also have a DST load to facilitate beginners to be able to buy stuff in Jita, we move it for you, all you need to do is to move in, fly into Auner, which is not that difficult to do in a shuttle, and then you can do reactions, and then you can we can hold the final reactions back to Dita for you, and you can sell it again, or you can sell it locally because we also have a trading hub there, so that you can build stuff and you can sell it to other industrialists who need it. And then also we opened a mining park in November in Twink and Langisi. So we have moon ethanol there. So that is available for anybody to go and mine. We are asking people to donate 10% of their mined ore so that we can keep the stations fueled and defended. But other than that, anybody can go there and mine. So that is, to try to, give something back to the community and also help more people, make some ISK in this game.
Yeah, it's very cool to see you guys give back because before the interview I scoured Reddit a bit to find like what people have actually been complaining, and people are like, well, they're getting like trillions and trillions, and they're all keeping it to themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, like whatever you do in life, some people will
yeah, yeah.
never see the work behind it. Like for example, the station trader module. How many hours do you think you've put in that initially, like before launch, from zero?
When we launched it, I was broke as a, as a, I, uh, so uh, so there is a story behind that as well. So when we launched EVEGuru back in October 2024, very soon after we launched, we got help from somebody from the community. His name is Master. He's now part of the EVEGuru team. At the time, he was not. He was a Linux user, and we wanted to get some help from the community to get EVEGuru to run on Linux and later also Mac, so that you can use it from any kind of platform. And he helped us with that. And he gave me an idea. Ray, why haven't you thought about, putting up an EVEGuru manufacturing facility? And I said, wow, that's a great idea, but it cost a fortune. That's almost maybe half a trillion ISK to set something like that in motion. I don't have that ISK. So, but then a year later, I still didn't have half a trillion of ISK. But I got a couple of 100 billion, etc. And then I talked to Master again and said, okay, I do have a steady income from EVEGuru, so maybe next summer we can do it. And I said, well, what if we build it ourselves? So then we started building. And so I was sitting in Gita and buying a lot of materials, and we were building all the different components, the structures, the rigs, the
Oh,
service
really?
modules, etc. Yeah. And then we flew it in. And then we were able to launch it on 1st of October last year. So almost a year after we launched EVEGuru. But at the time, I had absolutely no risk left. I couldn't buy a battleship.
You couldn't even afford a subscription to your own app, right?
No, I couldn't. Well, maybe a billion. I had maybe a couple of billions, but compared to what it cost to put up a facility like that, yeah, I was broke.
So we can safely tell the people on Reddit that you do not have 16 Titans.
I don't. I don't. Maybe at some point I will, but uh, so all I wanted to do was to get by for Omega accounts. And now, obviously, I have to admit that my ambition level has increased a little bit since then. But I'm not in this to become a trillionaire. I want to have fun. That's the most important thing for me. Have fun. And I have to tell you why. People ask me, why do you do this? And I said, it's fun. Uh, Developing EVEGuru, helping people get rich, see their, or hear the smile on their face when they, come and say, hey, I made a billion yesterday. It's fantastic. And, I'm sitting in the support channel in EVEGuru and answering questions for people who want to know how to trade or how to do industry or how to use a tool. It's fantastic. I meet so many fantastic people. So it's fun. When it stops being fun, I will stop, then I will need to do something else. But it's still fun. I love it.
Yeah, I get why it would be fun. It's yeah, I see you. You're very active on the channel actually. Like I've peeked a few times in the voice chat, and you're very open into helping others. Like it's not just a tool. It's much more than that actually, I think.
Yeah, we have a decent community now. I mean, we have more than, yeah, soon 2,500 members on our Discord. And many of them are very active and they're answering questions and helping. Initially, it wasn't like that, right? So it needed kind of initial help. So I took support very seriously very early on, right? So we had these different support channels and support tickets, and I was sitting in the voice channel, waiting for people to have questions. They could just pop in and ask, and So even though the community is far, is so much bigger now and they can help themselves or help each other, I still sit there because it's fun to meet people.
Yeah, that's what
It's
that's what Eve is about, you know.
Yeah,
Like, yes, we like
absolutely.
to mine, we like to blow up stuff, but if you have a solo mentality and you play Eve, you'll get bored very very fast. Even though it's a big sandbox, it still wouldn't be the same without all that variety of players.
Yep.
So I was wondering, before we close that up, what's in the future? What's the roadmap for EVEGuru, like short term, midterm? Like, are you guys gonna be like an everything tool? Will you cover like
Well,
PR, PI?
yeah,
What's next?
we have a long feature request list, and I picked some things. So I actually made an announcement on the 1st of January, basically thanking the community for the great support for the year that has passed, and also laying out some of the things we would like to do in 2026. So I mentioned two of the modules already. So the arbitrage trading module that will go as a companion with the station trader, and the market seeder that will go as a companion with the regional day trader. Um, then we already have delivered a part of another tool that I mentioned in the January announcement, and that is what we call the mineral to ore converter. So that's a tool for industrialists. So whenever you build something, you need materials, you need minerals, right? Output from refining ore, moon goo or ice products, or regular asteroid minerals. Uh, but in essence, kind of raw materials. Now, buying those things, you can absolutely do. The problem is that they are usually quite bulky compared to the cost. They're very cheap things to buy, but hauling them can be expensive because you can fill a jump freighter and it's hardly a billion, right?
Right.
So sometimes it's better to actually buy the ore. But then you need to figure out, what ore should I buy? These are the minerals I need. What ore should I buy to be able to hold this? So we delivered the mineral to ore converter in January, which basically does that for you. So basically, you decide, use the industry calculator to figure out what to build. You go to the production ledger to figure out how to build it. Then you have a shopping list. You take that shopping list and you give it to the mineral to ore converter, and it will tell you what ores to buy. And now you can hold the ore and you can refine it, and then you can even save money that way. You can typically increase your profits by 10% just by doing that, maybe even more.
With
So,
such thin margins these days for industry, particularly, like,
yep,
10% is huge, actually.
yep, yep. So that's kind of the latest addition to the industry tools. And then we have a huge module. I say huge because it is difficult to do this right, and that is profit tracking. So, as I mentioned to you, in EVEGuru, we have focused on being prescriptive, telling you what to do next in order to make more risk.
Yeah, what's
Now, yeah, but one feature that has become the most requested feature for EVEGuru is profit tracking, down to the item level. Exactly when did I buy this? What the price did I pay for it at that time, and now I'm consuming it. How is that influencing the product I'm building, or how much profit will I get from the next item I sell on the market, etc. So profit tracking is a big one, and it's complicated. Doing profit tracking for trading is not that complicated. Doing profit tracking for industry is complicated. So that is something I need time to develop, but it's absolutely something that will come this year. Um, uh, yeah. What else? There is another industry feature that is highly requested, but usually by more advanced industrialists, and that is industrialists who has several characters who can do reactions and several characters that can do manufacturing. So they have a set number of industry slots that they can do. and they would like to be able to tell the industry calculator, hey, I would like to build these 5 different things, and I have 100 reaction slots available. Please take all of these reactions and cluster them in such a way, split the jobs in such a way that I can utilize all my 100 slots at the same time. But no more, no less, exactly 100 slots, and make all the jobs last exactly the same time. There are tools out there that can do this today. I can think of at least 2. Well, one of them may not be active anymore, I don't remember, so that's EVEGuru and Rawworks. So they can do these things. But they typically do this with a main focus on reactions. But there are manufacturing jobs that are not reactions, and there are science jobs where you have to make copies. So our goal there is to be able to do it across all of the different industry jobs you can install. So it sounds like very specific, and it is, but it's actually quite complicated to make it happen across all the different types of industry jobs that you can have.
Yeah,
And
the more slots you have for one project, the faster you can come to. It'll save time. Actually,
Absolutely, absolutely. And by the way, I have to mention
time
this.
is
It's
money.
not we absolutely do job splitting today, but we don't do it with a specific number of slots in mind. We split them based on time so that you can plan ahead and you can say to the calculator, "Hey, I want to build this ship. Make sure that all these reactions last 24 hours or 48 hours so that I can install them, I can log out from the game, I can go back in exactly 2 days from now, and I know that exactly at that point in time they're all finished, and I can deliver them and install new ones." So we already have that feature, but being able to control it down to a specific set of slots, that's a different thing. So that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, what else? We do plan to port the risk profile. I mentioned the risk profile as a way to control your trading risk. We have that in the trading modules. We want to port that over to the industry module so that also industrialists can benefit from risk profile. Meaning that, okay, I see that based on the market prices today, it's profitable to build this battleship, but it will take me 2 weeks to build it. What if the price drops in the meantime? So that's what the risk profiles will do. So it will
Because that
basically tell,
happens to me all the time. I
yeah,
pick like a very popular item on an EVEGuru or whatever tool, and then I'm just like, well, I'm gonna build like 100 of those, and then by the time I finish building them, they're sold at the loss. I'm like, oh,
yeah, exactly. So that is what the risk profile will do. And I don't think there is any industry tool out there today that actually do this. So that will be a novel thing. So that is also something that will come later this year. And then right now I'm working on modernizing the app itself. Right, it's 4 years since I started developing it, and it's grown large. It's a huge app today with many features, and it's time for me to consolidate a little bit. In developer speak, we call this refactoring. So right now, I'm re-implementing the app, so to speak, but in a more efficient way, so that I can, be more efficient when I deliver the next set of features. So that's what I'm working on right now.
this how it goes with planning ahead, right?
Planning ahead, yeah.
Right.
And at
Well,
the
if
same
I
time, it will
if I
make
can have
make it all.
my suggestion for a module, I have one
Oh
in mind.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm listening. Yep.
It would be the scrapyard module. So, like finding opportunities for items that are sold very cheap but have very high mineral reprocessing value.
Oh, you know
That
what?
one I would love that.
We have it already.
Taking into account like scrap metal processing and like all the
Yeah, yeah,
skills there, and be like, hey, like
yeah,
that item sold for that
yeah.
item sells on buy
So,
orders for like fucking
so let me
100
see
ish.
here. You would like to see a scrapyard module where you can actually give it a list of basically copy and paste whatever you have in your hangar, and it will tell you how much you will make in profits if you recycle them. Is that?
Or just find items like on the market that have very low buy or sell orders that
Okay.
are sold for sell orders for
Yeah,
way less than the reprocessed minerals.
yeah, yeah. We
Because
have that
sometimes I
module.
buy stuff for 100 isk, but it has
Yeah,
like 4 megasite.
yeah, yeah. We
So it's
have
like
that module
that's like
already.
10,000% profit,
Yeah,
right?
we have it already. It's already there.
Really?
Yeah, the feature is called batch reprocessing calculator, and you can
I didn't
give
see
it
that.
a list of items. No, you can give it whatever you want, and he will tell you if it's profitable or not to recycle it based on the current market prices.
Versus the mineral value.
Yeah.
Really? Well, I'm gonna go explore that as soon as I
Yeah.
wire
It's in
you my
the
millions.
we delivered it in January together with the mineral to ore converter. We also delivered a batch reprocessing calculator where you can basically give it whatever you want. Just type it in there, or give it a list and you paste it in there, copy and paste from clipboard, whatever, and it will calculate it. And you can tell him, hey, compared to Jita Sell, compared to Jita Buy, compared to Amar, you can select the market you would like to compare to. And he will calculate whether or not it's profitable to recycle it versus trading it.
Wow, as soon as we hang up, I'm gonna I'm gonna go check that tool because it flew right past me like I haven't seen that.
Yeah, we kind of maybe went a little bit under the radar. It's a very niche thing, so we didn't make a huge announcement. We did put it up. We did put up an announcement for it, but maybe we could have made it, more clear to people what the module could do. And it's included in the industry package. So if you subscribe to industry, you will have it already.
That's where I'll find it, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, it was a real pleasure having you on the podcast. So I hope we cleared some questions people have, and I encourage people to just like get the trial, try it for yourself, and see if you like it or not. But it's a great tool. I mean, especially with the market was going down every MER, it's worse than the last for now. Like who's to know what's in the future? But yeah, it's a very useful tool.
And thank you for inviting me. It's been a pleasure to be here with you.
So, would you have any closing message you would like to tell the listeners?
Have fun. I mean, whatever you do in EVE Online, have fun. Make sure it's fun.
Yeah, it's the spirit. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ray.
Thank you. Bye
Cheers.
bye.